Hello and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York.
We are a department of Garden City Parks and Recreation Department, and what's housed at the center are also all the senior programs.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the other things that are housed there? I know you have the Historical Museum and some other things.
What we've done is pretty much divided the center up into 3 sections. One section we call our senior wing, where we have our senior programs. We feed nutritional lunch to 40, 50 people.
On behalf of the volunteer slaves at Omni Edition, please send money and have a Merry Christmas.
My name is Susie Papera. On behalf of the Youth Task Force and the entire Papera family, I would like to wish all of Garden City a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I'd like to take this opportunity in behalf of myself and my family to wish each and every citizen of Garden City and their families a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm looking forward to a prosperous 1984 for all the citizens of our great community.
"'Twas the night before Christmas"?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it again, see if I can remember it all, but I brought the book. "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children all nestled all snug in their beds. Visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mom in her kerchief and I in my cap, we just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose just a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash, tore up the windows, threw up the sash. The snow on the breast of the moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster to midday objects below. When what to my wandering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a minute it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came. He whistled and shouted and called by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before a wild hurricane fly, they now dash away, dash away all. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas, too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew down my head and turning around, down the chimney came St. Nicholas with a great big bound, all dressed up in fur from his head to his toe. And his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. The bundle of toys he had flung on his back, he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, his droll little mouth was drawn up in a bow, the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of his pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke circled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. With a wink of his eye and a twist of his head, he soon gave me to know that I had nothing to worry about. He spoke not a word, went straight to his work, filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk and lay his finger alongside his nose. He gave a nod and up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him explain ere he drove out of sight. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, good night.
Hi, and welcome to Garden City Planning for a Better Tomorrow. I'm Dan York.
And I'm Mayor Vince Fordell.
This week on the program, Val O'Rourke will be here from the Maplewood Community Center. Actually, we'll be there as we take a look at the remodeling that went on, take a look at the cheese distribution that goes on once a month, and also talk about some upcoming dinner theater at Maplewood Center. But up front, Mayor Vince Fordell with a change of seasons and the incorporation.
Hi, I'm Becky. And I'm Michelle. Watch GC Trivia Challenge with Kevin Cravis every Wednesday and Thursday on Channel 17 at 7 o'clock. Isn't that good?
For a Better Tomorrow continues. I am Dan York. We're at City Hall at the conclusion of the 1986 Garden City Christmas Parade, and with me now is Debbie Trozen from the Garden City JCs, and welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, what exactly is your position with the JCs once again?
This year I'm the Community Development Vice President. All of our community projects that we run here in the city are in my area. I find chairman and work with the chairman to make sure the projects get going and finish well.
Okay, now. Hi, and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York.
From Detroit, I'm Dan York.
Good evening, Garden City, and welcome to the 1985 Meet the Candidates program. I am Dan York.
Hi, and welcome to Garden City Planning for a Better Tomorrow. I'm Dan York. I'm Dan York. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching.
I'm a junior at Garden City High School and also a cadet first lieutenant in the high school's AFJROTC unit. Although I am in uniform and obviously representing the Cadet Corps, I would like to think that I am expressing the feelings of all the young people in our community.
Mid-American Pom Pom and Omni Edition Television proudly present the Mid-American Pom Pom All-Star Team at the 1987 Michigan Thanksgiving Day Parade. Mid-American Pom Pom and Omni Edition Television proudly present the Mid-American Pom Pom All-Star Team's Florida Performance Tour, including appearances at Epcot Center and SeaWorld.
No matter what you think you hold, you'll find it's not enough. No matter who you think you know, you won't get through. It's a given LA law, someone's faster on the draw. No matter where you hide, I'm coming after you. ever do. It's okay to want to shine, but once you step across that line, no matter where you hide, I'm coming after you. Shake down, break down, take down, everybody wants into the crowded line. Break down, take down, you're busted. Shake down, break down, honey, just about the time you think it's alright. Break down, take down, you're busted. Shake down, break down, take down, everybody wants into the crowded line. Break down, take down, you busted. Shake down, break down, hurry, just about the time you think that it's alright. Break down, take down, you busted. Shake down, break down, take down, everybody wants into the crowded line. Break down, take down, you're busted.
Les Nessman, this is Kevin Kramus from the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions. Les, do you ever watch Up Your Alley on television?
Up Your Alley, yes. Well, as winner of the Copper Cob, I've watched Up Your Alley many times.
Now, Les,
the famous Copper Cob trophy given by the Plowing Patriots of Omaha, Nebraska, of course. You know of that award.
Oh, yeah, I got one, too.
Yes. Up Your Alley?
No, I got the Copper Cup, too.
Oh, okay, fine.
Now, Les, why don't you tell the people at home, don't forget to watch the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions.
Don't forget to watch the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions.
With Kevin Kramus.
Right here.
On Channel 18 in Garden City.
That's right, you've got it right from the horse's mouth. What can I say? He said it all.
Well, that's not all, Les, because it's the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions. Wednesdays at 6:30 and Thursdays and Fridays at 1:30 and 6:30 here on Channel 18. Join Kevin Kramus and Western Wayne County's best amateur bowlers as they battle it out for the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions right here on Channel 18.
I'm here with Dwayne X. Riley. This is Kevin Kramus from the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions. Dwayne, how many times have you watched the show?
Oh, so many times I just can't remember. It's I asked my computer that, and it didn't have enough spaces to. All the time.
Is it a good show?
Oh, it's the best. The very best. Couldn't watch anything better.
What do you think about that guy, Kevin Kramus?
Well, he's not bad. You know, if he were here now, oh, you're Kevin Kramer. What are you trying to do? You're trying to pull a fast one.
That's Kramus, Dwayne.
Kramer.
Kramus.
Kramer.
You got it.
Kramer, right.
So tell people at home to watch the show then.
Watch the, what's the name of the show again?
Up Your Alley.
Up Your Alley.
Tournament of Champions.
Tournament of Champions.
With Kevin Kramus.
With Kevin Kramer.
Join Kevin under many of his aliases on Wednesdays at 6:30 and Thursdays and Fridays at 1:30 and 6:30 on Channel 18. The Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions, coming in December. You see on the shot right now the Garden City High School Cougar Marching Band with the Bulldog cheerleaders in the front. And in front is, of course, the Grand Marshal for this year, Rod and Helen White.
They've been residents of Garden City for 35 years. They were recently recognized by the mayor as the Volunteers of the Year for 1988.
It's only their third possession, so see what happens. This is LeClaire in motion. Marzalak looking for somebody, lofts one up to the middle. Samborski, touchdown! Just like we talked about last week, John Samborski went up and got that one. And Marzalak's back here. It's a straight drop back pass, and it actually looked like...
You feel they have done so in the past, or are we talking about in the future that they're going to?
No, I feel that they have. I think I truly believe that. In the true spirit of negotiations, they have.
Mid-American Pom Pom and Omni Edition Television proudly present the Mid-American Pom Pom All-Star Team in the 65th Annual Michigan Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Team number 3, Mount Pleasant, please take the floor.
Teamwork! Together we can work! Step by step, we got it! Do it! Just do it! PHS Mount Pleasant at its best! Giving all we've got! Shoot! Shoot, 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 shoot! Oilers on the move! Go! For the win! Up, up, and in! Win! Keep it together! Number 1!
Two balls, 2 strikes on Shaw. Snyder on deck for Marion.
33 wins already, a school record for Garden City in fast pitch softball for the women.
And they're on their feet. Here it is. Thompson with a smile on her face.
For Dramatics,
Yes.
she's delaying this one by a pitch or two. They're standing
Full
here.
count.
People wanted a strike.
She understands the drama. As you see the crowd, a couple of hundred people made the trek from Garden City this morning to Battle Creek to see this one. 5-0, Garden City leads. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Garden City advances to the state championship to play either Okemos or Waterford Kettering. Garden City gets out of the semis, and it's on to the state title game tomorrow morning here at Battle Creek. In the inning for Birmingham Marion, 0 across. Our final, Garden City 5, Birmingham Marion 0, and they do the handshakes. Welcome to Omni Edition, the Detroit Tigers 1992. I'm Dan York. As thousands have done from Michigan, Ontario, and Ohio, we've made the trek to Lakeland, Florida, the spring training home of the Detroit Tigers, to find out what kind of team they have for 1992. On this program, we'll talk with Tony the Tiger, Tony Phillips. Last year for the Tigers, Tony started at 5. Hi, and welcome to Garden City, planning for a better tomorrow. I'm Dan York. This week on the program, a little bit later on, we're going to...
for this?
And the premises would be the property line, I assume.
We've already been over that ground.
Well, I just wanted Mr. Barker to
Further
make it
discussion.
there.
Coming around second, here's a throw to third, they've got her.
Obviously, we like to be playing out there.
Sparks! Touchdown! Good move there by Zenzel.
Marry you to Matamas. Matamas finds.
He's on the break. Oh! Terry Paul comes around third now, headed for the plate. Here's the throw. They're going to let it through. She slides head first and is safe. Shot taken and a goal scored for the Cougars.
Thank you very much, Susie. We'll bring it back downstairs.
Leading off for the Tigers, the designated hitter, number 36, Curtis Pride.
World famous teacher's skit.
He was the inspirational leader for the Red Wings that brought the cup to Detroit for the first time in 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your Detroit Rockers.
All right, Lisa. Now that you've won that Jeep, what do you want now?
I want Stanley.
All right.
It's a case of hometown boy makes good.
Corner kick now for the Tractors.
A lot of you people wrote in after our last telecast and said we saw a lot of the football field, but we did not see the 30-yard line marker.
We can turn the world on with a smile. Take a nothing day, suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. When it's you, girl, and you should know it. Each glance and every little movement, you show it. All this all around, no need to waste it. You can have the time, why don't you take it? You're gonna make it after all. You're gonna make it after all.
Susan McGraw, one of the reasons that Omni Edition Television and GCTV cover Garden City the way only people who grew up here can.
Hi, I'm Dave Coulier, and you're watching GCTV. There we are.
Hi, I'm Aaron Ward of the Detroit Red Wings, two-time Stanley Cup champions. You're watching GCTV.
Hi, I'm Ken Daniels, play-by-play television voice of the Detroit Red Wings, and you're watching GCTV.
Hi, I'm Karen Newman, and you're watching GCTV.
Dear Dave, can I host the show for a few minutes? Would you all, can I get you all some more salted nuts? Dear Dave, can I host the show for a few minutes? Yours truly, Jason Lynch, Garden City, Michigan. You know, we get letters like this all the time, and I thought, you know, it might be fun. Just to, you know, I'll take a night off, and then we'll bring the kid in. What's his name? Jason Lynch from Garden City, and just see what he can do. So we actually did it. Remember, Paul? We were here that night. All right, so here now, Jason Lynch from Garden City, Michigan, hosting The Late Show. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Jason Lynch from Garden City, Michigan, and welcome to The Late Show. President Clinton joined the YMCA. One day you're the leader of the free world, the next you're waiting for the fat guy to get off the treadmill.
This guy sucks. Wonder if Leno's doing headlines.
Ackerman with a steal. What a move by Ackerman.
Kevin, call this play.
I don't know what this is all about.
You know, any coach that spends that much time teaching that goofy formation before you...
You ought to see them. They do the Macarena like nobody.
Stolen by Angoyan. He's on a break. Shoot.
Oh!
Let's see. Harold Larson is on the first base side.
How many years
Brett
has he
George
been
is
with
on the
you?
third base. Well, let's put it this way. Him and Marconi argued about what radio would be called, okay?
And who won that argument?
Well, obviously Marconi. Harold wanted to call it soup.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing your Garden City.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 2003-2004 coming home king is Ray Wassel. He's going to go with it coast to coast, and he gets it to drop.
There are people enjoying food and shopping.
What happens here today will certainly affect the rest of the state and eventually the nation.
It is only fitting that we recognize the contributions of our servicemen and women. Thank you so much, Dan. We are so proud to be welcomed, the one, the only, the big jolly man in the red hat. Not Dan York. No, it's Santa Claus. Santa, welcome to Garden City. We're so thrilled to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Such a wonderful city, a lovely mayor. It's all.
What's all the commotion? We've got another holiday to worry about. It seems Thanksgiving Day is upon us. I haven't even finished eating all my Halloween candy. Sally, Thanksgiving is a very important holiday. Ours was the first country in the world to make a national holiday to give thanks.
Isn't he the cutest thing?
Mid-American Pon Pon and Omni Edition Television proudly present
the Mid-American Pon-Pon All-Star Team. In America's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Reverse layup, no good. Here comes Garden City. 2-on-3, revert. Bassett up and in! Mark Bassett gets his second bucket, and at the 5:07 mark, it's 7-0 Garden City.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Hello and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York. The idea behind this show is to keep Garden City residents informed as to what is going on in their own hometown through the medium of cable television. On Omni Edition Garden City each week, you'll be treated to an opening segment of news highlighting the going-ons in Garden City, including political news, community news, and sports. Also included on each program will be an edited segment featuring an aspect of community activity. The show will be wrapped up with an interview with a community leader or a governmental leader each week. Today's show will feature Val O'Rourke of the Maplewood Community Center and a look at the Garden City Historical Museum. Omni Edition Garden City is a production of the Garden City Cable Commission and has a planned run of 9 weeks on a trial basis. So we hope you'll tune in each week for Omni Edition Garden City. Now let's take a look at the news.
Has challenged the city council and city administration to a broomball game, and so they can't get out of it. It comes up Tuesday, March 20th at the Civic Arena, so officially over the air it has been issued a challenge by the high school administration to take on the city in broomball March 20th. That will wrap up the news portion of Omni Edition. We'll go to the break. When we come back, the PTA Council.
People have got to be excited for all season then. I mean, coming down the stretch, we've got all Eastern Division teams there in September, and it's going to be a hot pennant race.
It will be.
you don't know what's going to happen over the long haul. Injuries play such a key part in this game and in a pennant race. And if the Tigers or any other club lose a couple of key men, it could change the whole outlook. But if everybody stays healthy, this ball club, deeper on the bench than they've ever been before, deeper in the bullpen with Hernandez, they should be in the race to the last day.
All right, appreciate you being with me.
Thank you.
This should be fever pitch today. Morris with a no-hitter on national television, 52,000. Even the obstructed view seats are sold out. This is going to be an exciting one today.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I just hope that the Tigers play well. You never know the outcome of a game, but you like to see them play well before a big crowd. And sometimes you got a big crowd like this, and they don't do too well. But I'm hoping that they'll come up with one of their good performances.
Now, most of these guys have seen opening days in front of big crowds, and the only one I'm not sure about would be Howard Johnson. I don't know if he's ever played an opening day, but most of these guys have seen an opening day.
Right. Well, they have, and you know, the fact that they've opened on the road too will be helpful to them. They've had two openers already. We had one in Minnesota and one in Chicago, and pretty good crowds for both. So I think that will alleviate the problem a little bit. But the home opening is a special occasion, especially in Detroit. It's a big social event. It's all over the papers, all over town, and it's just great to be a part of it.
Any predict?
And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Mayor Vincent J. Fordell. Would you please come up, too?
The way he started out there, I thought we were going to get a commercial for Misty's. Does anybody know where Misty's moved to, by the way? Yeah. Forrest showed up just to let you know he's still around. Yeah.
We're live on Radio 16 WAAM and being taped now on video for another edition of Press Box with Dan York, Jeff Defriend, along with Michigan basketball coach Bill Frieda. Our phone numbers tonight, 971-1600, 971-1602, and 525-1888 in Metro Detroit. First of all, Coach, thanks for joining us on this Sunday night.
Nice to be here, Jeff.
Put the lid on the 1985-86 season with this conversation. We'll recap it a little bit, look ahead, but 28 victories. Obviously, you have to be very, very proud of that.
Well, we are. It was a great year, and you know what everybody remembers is the disappointing loss in the tournament, and certainly that was disappointing to all of us, including the fans. But you can't take away the fact that these kids repeated as Big Ten champions.
One thing you can do for me, please, before we start the show. Put on your lavalier mic.
It's a great new idea in audio pickup.
Audio pickup? Nobody would pick audio up if they were smart. Okay. Andy,
That's me.
while you're doing brain surgery on your mic, would you like to introduce your team?
Well, this is Greg Hinkle.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, Greg. And that's Sean McGregor.
How you doing, Sean? McGregor, is that any relationship to Kmart? In the McGregor goods as a baseball mitts, hats,
Probably.
jocks,
Yeah.
things like that. You make jocks and baseball hats.
I size the extra larges, so.
Yeah, baseball hats.
Nah.
Okay, Michael. Your team is the Diver Downers.
Mayor Vince Fordell, again a winner for his fifth consecutive term, 1,790 votes. He's a winner over Patricia Nunley, 1,690 votes. And if we could have the graphic with the council candidates to follow along with, the numbers show that Jim Plakis will serve as mayor pro tem again, as you see the hello there, as you see the mayor's race. Jim Plakis will serve as mayor pro tem again with 2,256 votes. Paul Micah, the second place vote getter with the council, he had 2,087 votes. Mary Markowitz, 2,021 votes for third place. As you see, that's a very tight race for the number 2 spot. And then the number 4 spot belongs to Don McNulty, continuing to go through the numbers with 1,426. Alice LeClaire finishes in
I should clarify that and say she finishes in second place. Ray Behringer finished in fifth place with 1,537. And Frank Longy with 643. Finishing seventh. Stephen Dodge finishing eighth with 533 votes.
Okay. Well, you're going to go ahead and attach a new weaver into the piece, and why don't I just attach it in to the back for now. And as you can see, this I like long pieces. I don't like stopping and starting. I like flowing. So, and also, if you'll notice, we do not have a rhythm established here yet, do we? There's no flow established. It's just a single line.
I understand. Yes.
So now we will be establishing a flow on the back and front rim. And I pull half of the vine down and just leave one half and go ahead and work with the other. This is sometimes your friends can help pull these long pieces through. I understand that Cindy and Cliff Nishimura, someone had told me that their children would take the ends of the vines and run off into the fields. And I just thought that was great. Just clip it for a moment to hold it in place.
Because it doesn't want to stay there, right?
No, there's nothing holding it yet. Okay. So it's like something's just coming into being. Now, we have the flow established in the back. So if I could take this for a moment.
Sure.
I'm going to come to the front and establish the pattern in the front. Could you hold on to that down there? Thanks. Sure. And again, this is how you can see it's just an overcast stitch.
Now, just while you're doing this, not all these baskets have to have a handle on it or have to be a wall piece.
No.
Let me just pull this one.
8-pin and have it bounce off and slide all the way across. It didn't quite do it. He missed all of them.
You can't really see it.
And he leaves
right
himself
here,
open after a strike.
This is Chuck's ball, and it curves around in there just like that, and boom. And it's just amazing how he does it. I don't know how he does it. And how do you do it, Chuck?
From the Silver Lanes in Garden City, it's the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions 4.
And people, I know you people at home, you're saying to yourself, does this guy still do comedy? And the funny thing is, I open next week at the Improv in L.A. Back to bowling action right now, and he missed the ball. I'm really looking forward to my debut as a busboy. And then I'll bring Rick Brooks up here in the 8th frame. Hey, we're looking at a 3-6-10 combination. We're playing musical cameras, and right now Dan York's running camera and Keith Adkins, but when the whistle blows, they're all going to run. First gutter of the Up Your Alley Tournament of Champions, 4.
On the first show, let's bring him up here right now, Doc Reitzel with a special top 10 list for Up Your Alley. Drum roll, please, Magic.
How you doing tonight? We got the top 10 reasons why Kevin Kramus, this guy here, will not be hired by a major network. We got a drum roll going, and you'll see him come up in your monitor here. Number 10, he wouldn't take Brandon Tartikoff's daughter to the prom. Now, isn't that too bad? Number 9, his inability to suck up to powerful network Gentiles. Number 8, ABC says all hosts must be taller than Webster. Number 7, alleged videotape of Kevin exposing himself to security monitors on the People Mover. Problems down there. Number 6, CBS's constant dedication to remain a distant fourth behind the Fox network. Number 5, his refusal to speak in question form to Alex Trebek at parties.
Laugh!
Number 4, pending charges over minor nose-breaking incident with Geraldo, you know, throwing those chairs. Number 3, the Cable Commission wouldn't let Kevin out of 3,000 hours of public service time for not paying his cable bill. Number 2, Pat Sajak has never forgiven Kevin for spoiling Vanna, the goddess of love. And the number 1 reason why Kevin will not be hired by a major network, he's too busy preparing to be Dan Quayle's running mate in the 1996 election. So I guess you'll just have to stay here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doc Reitzel.
Sports director from WBZ
How am I
Radio.
helping plan for a better tomorrow in Garden City?
You're filling.
Coming on.
You're filling my first week of 1990.
Oh, so you can
we
go
don't
to
have
Disney
to do a
World,
real
right?
show, right?
You can go on vacation, right?
Taking a look at.
I've done these Phil shows, so I understand what you're going
every
through.
show you're on is usually a Phil show. We're off to a great start, aren't we?
We always are.
1989, the year in review, if you will.
Sports-wise.
Sports-wise,
That's
yeah.
my subject.
Sports-wise, anyway. Let's go through it again, anyway. Sports director at PZA Radio. How long have you been there?
It's going to be 3 years very soon.
Wow.
3 very enjoyable years.
And you have worked the Ann Arbor market for a while. You started out at Wham in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Actually, you started out at PAG and went to Wham, right?
No, I went to Wham, then to PAG, then to Wham, back to PAG, which converted its call letters to PZA.
Right.
So it'll be 10 years in March that I'll be in radio.
And mostly in Ann Arbor.
All in Ann Arbor.
All in Ann Arbor? Yeah. Now, the
Unless
market...
John Austin wants to buy a radio station in Garden City, I'll be happy. He'll cut down on my driving.
We put you on CAR, but I don't think too many people would hear you unless the hamster pedals real fast.
I understand. I can see the lights from my house, but I can't hear the station.
Gee.
I mean, well, I don't mean to knock it.
Gosh, yes you do.
No, I don't. It's a fact. Do you want me to explain how radio works and how you have to power down, power up, and why you need so many antennas? No. Nah.
What's going on here?
Well, you just wanted to follow up on something.
Oh, God.
Who wants to?
He's traveled about the state and meet a lot of new friends, talk about some of the issues that face Michigan, and in general have an opportunity to lay out an agenda that our state faces. And I'll take a few minutes today to do that. I've been asked to answer questions. I'm always happy to do that, so you can prepare your questions. We don't have any limitations on what you want to talk about, so whatever is on your mind. And there's a tremendous cross-section of business interests and community interests that are represented here. I think I've had a chance to get to every table and try to say hello to the folks that are here and get a little sense of who you are and the communities that you represent.
Supporting the concept of keeping Tiger Stadium in the city of Detroit. Why is that important to us? What does it matter to Garden City whether the ballpark is in Detroit, whether it's in Livonia? What do we care?
Well, there's several factors, Dan. In analyzing the proposals put forth by the City of Detroit, Mayor Coleman Young, and our County Executive, Ed McNamara.
The charges, annual charges for the business license for various types of businesses in the city, they have not been updated since 1988, and we've basically increased these to reflect our cost of providing the service. And
Weekend connection is to the Jerry Lewis Telethon and all of the activities centered around muscular dystrophy on that weekend.
Right.
Okay, so this is the 19th year in a row you folks have done this.
Yes.
This has to be one of the longer running local charities pertaining to MDA, and obviously for the folks who affect locally, it's the most important and probably the biggest money raiser for them.
Normally, when you became 21, there would be a vacancy. Normally, someone would quit the department, someone would retire, and there would be a vacancy. And at that time, you were promoted to the rank of patrolman.
Back in the 60s when there were jobs for everybody in the early 70s, huh?
Yes.
Now, and we'll get in a little more about how you evolved in your position, but what kind of changes have you seen in 24 years on the force? I imagine there have been a lot.
To the best of my ability.
To the very best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Goes to the paint. Nice give there, and it drops. Unbelievable for Rick Morton from Jason Wynn.
Hi, welcome to Up Your Alley. This is North America's #1 bowling show, shot here live from the Garden Lane. So it's not exactly live, but it's live on tape.
Hey, I was dead. No, I'm alive now. See, I'm talking, and I was dead before they got there. So you know they did something right.
Welcome you to Garden City's annual recognition of and Thanksgiving celebration for citizens who serve.
That's right. Raise your right hand. You're getting the idea. I, Richard Hammer Jr.
In the 1989 Garden City primary held today, he pulled 1,260 votes, squeaked past Pat Nunley.
Agenda, which would be the consideration of appointment of Mr. Ed Kane to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Violations for 5 over. Was traveling down Cherry Hill, and I had the white vehicle driven by a person who just issued a violation to at 54, nice steady 54 for quite a long time.
And I don't think that everyone should have to pay for Parks and Rec if they don't use it. I'm with him all the way.
Any other thoughts then?
I would only comment that Ed, first of all, you mentioned under other conditions, section B. Do you have a problem, first of all, with the reduced fees and that percentage?
Yes, Director. He's brought this to my attention. Maybe, Jack, you can discuss the standards a bit.
I didn't bring the actual manual with me, but the manual is not a recent manual. When you reconstruct a street, to be qualified as a major street, 33-foot width, you have to restrict parking on one side. If you have a 40-foot wide street or a boulevard that equals 40-foot wide, you don't have to restrict the parking.
Welcome back to Planning for Better Tomorrow. I am Dan York with Jeff Defran. As I mentioned before, he is the chairman of the Garden City Cable Commission, lifetime Garden City resident, I think, and now the host for Detroit Lions football on WXYT Radio. You know, we used to have you here about once a month, and I don't think you've been here for 8 years. Welcome back to the program.
Well, thank you. And last time I was here, there was a countertop, so that's why I
Trying
wore
to
shorts
explain
today.
the shorts. Not
I figured,
everyone's
well,
up to speed that we've changed the set so far.
I figured I could roll in with a pair of shorts, and I almost wore flip-flops, and I could sit here, and the desktop would cover
At least
it.
we woke you up to take a shower this morning, so that was a big plus.
Thanks for letting everybody know that.
Yeah, no problem.
That's more information they need to know.
Information threshold, we are here. We're going to talk with Jeff about what's going on with the Lions. Again, the Garden City connection. We have a disproportionate amount of television and radio people that come out of Garden City for the fact that it's 3 miles long. Talk about how Jeff got where he got and what's going on with the Detroit Lions. First of all, how long have you been at XYT this time?
Well, I became full-time a few months ago, but I was on and off 4 years doing news and some sports under various names.
Under various names, that's right, because you were working at 2 radio stations at the same time.
I was Darren Jeffries, but I told everybody he was my identical twin cousin, and of course Jeff Defran.
And that's the same story Sabrina West tells at Traffic Control or Metro
exactly.
Traffic. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Jody Dodge, a council member of this community. Thank you all for joining us on this wonderful autumn day. Today, we were to be standing at Ground Zero, where the first of several hundred trees will be planted. Mr. Ed Kane, a private citizen and a longtime resident, is providing all the trees with the assistance of our new cable company, Americast, who is digging all the holes at no charge.
And ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with our 1996 MCCA Class A State Championship. Our first team performing today. Team number 1, Novi High School, please take the floor.
Well, overall, the impressions are good. There's a lot of work to do, and the city has a very active program underway, primarily as we finish up the $38 million construction program with sewer separations, combined sewer overflow structures, and other methodologies to clean up the Rouge River.
So really, you end up jumping into the project feet first because there's not a lot of time to get acclimated to the situation because these projects are already going full bore and they can't be slowed up for anything, really.
That's right. Quite frankly, though, I feel that the light at the end of the tunnel, Dan, is getting pretty bright because we're 95% of the way finished with this program, and probably will finish up the bulk of the this construction season this summer, and have the major project over with. And of course, this project has been a very extensive and intensive program, and quite frankly, I think it's been a little bit stressful on the administration and the structure of the organization for the last couple of years.
Susan McGraw, who will be with us throughout the evening. She is, as I said, just several feet from where the votes are being tallied. And Susie, it sounds like it's starting to pick up there a little bit, but it looks a little quiet here early on.
Well, as a matter of fact, Ed, I'll tell you, things are really chilly outside, but truly heating up here upstairs at City Hall here in Garden City. We have results coming in, as you indicated, and we're starting to see some candidates coming in as well. We hope to talk with some different people. I understand that the one council person who keeps his seat for another 2 years on council, Mike Wysek, is here. He'll be joining us in just a little bit, and the mood is actually pretty calm, pretty comfortable. Again, we've got a few people kind of laughing off in the distance months. I think the fact that the polls are closed is sort of a heavy sigh of relief to some people, especially those election workers who have been frantically trying to accumulate votes and do tabulating and so on. But that part of it is over. The people have spoken, and now it's just a matter of finding out what those decisions are going to be. As you say, first of all, congratulations. Things
Thank
are going
you.
very well in the community, and I'm kind of excited to be on this side and let you sit over there, and you look a little sheepish, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know if I like
that.
this.
Oh, I like it very much, so stay there. Now, I know that we've got some changes coming up. We'll talk a little bit about literally some cable changes here in Garden City, ones that we have not faced forever. So that's very new to the community, but everyone with cable is able to watch us today, and certainly they are. Tell me a little bit, though, about some programming changes. We have got a very nice group of things that people can look forward to watching this coming season. Where would you like to begin?
Well, the programming changes are somewhat necessitated by the changes in cable television.
Okay.
The idea was now with 2 cable companies, if you subscribe to Comcast, if you subscribe to Ameritech, the one common denominator is this channel.
Okay.
Everyone receives this channel. A lot of people get confused in that they think the LO channel, the TV3 on Comcast, is going to be available to everyone. It's not. Comcast owns that channel. Ameritech doesn't do local programming. They give us 1% of a franchise fee, of their franchise fee, to do local programming. So what we've done with the contract that we proposed to the city and they accepted was expand the programming that we do here beyond just the council meetings and the Planning for a Better Tomorrow show and some of the city hall events. We've expanded it to try to take into account the entire community. What does the entire community want to see? What are the most important events that the community wants to see? And we've tried to encompass all of those. We probably don't have them all, but we at least have a majority of them. And those are the events that we're going to show then on this channel over the next 3 years.
And the community is not what it should be without people that give of their time, and a tremendous, tremendous amount of time that you give, Pete, to make this city what it is. Tell me a little bit about your involvement in the community. You've been here for many, many years, I know.
Well, living-wise, resident of Garden City, we've been here since 1955. We grew up here. I went to Garden City High School, the original and only one that I know of. Married a young lady from the high school. We were junior high together. Went to high school together. Got married in 1960. Had one little boy, and I guess that's when it started. As I said in the newspaper, basically my son kind of said to me, Dad, would you like to come to a scout meeting? And I says, sure, I'll be there, but I'm not going to volunteer for nothing. So I guess that's when it started.
Hi, and welcome to Garden City Planning for a Better Tomorrow. I'm Dan York. This week on the program, Mary Jane Schilberg will be here. You may know her as a former Garden City City Council person and as a former member of the Garden City School Board, but right now she's a member of what used to be the Global Education Committee. Okay. The main focus here is we took a policy, we took a section of the charter that was passed in the mid-70s, early 70s, that had early 70s and mid-70s dollar values in it. That probably even at that time, when Vince Fordell and those folks put it together, fully expected it to be modified sometime in the near future, and we never changed it.
I think that's a pretty fair assumption. I think a couple things that we have to really look at, one other reasons why we wanted to change is the computer was not in such big use back then. As everybody knows, so many people in their homes have computers and they're online and they do this and they do that through their computer. It's really not anything different for the city that we have these options available to use also. I think that's some of the other important aspects of this.
Now, since we spoke with those folks yesterday, apparently the Department of Public Service has received this ransom note for the trophy. And essentially, the ransom note is looking for free ribs and a dinner from Golden Feather. Now, obviously, you can tell from the report, from the story, that the folks at DPS have an idea of who the culprits are in the case of the missing DPS trophy, and possibly they believe that this ransom has come from the Garden City Police Department.
For Tiger baseball again surrounding Comerica Park, the Tigers hope to get their 2000 season back on track, because this is a season that started with such great optimism. A new manager, a new superstar, and a new ballpark. Now, here's Daniel.
It's my honor to introduce to you a man now in his 61st year of broadcasting and his 40th year of calling Tigers baseball. A member of the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is a legend in his field and a friend to us all. Ladies and gentlemen, our master of ceremonies for the opening of Comerica Park, Ernie Harwell.
What's it like? You've got scouts at your baseball games. You had people watching you play basketball. You were the Detroit News, I guess, declared you their top player in Metro Detroit. How are you handling it?
Fine so far. I mean, I guess as best you could. I mean, it's definitely a dream come true to grow up and playing baseball around here, and just to be able to play here at the high school and even just get known around here in Garden City. I mean, Garden City's not really known for the sports, but just to bring people to Garden City and just play and live out my dream.
I mean, you've been fortunate. You came in at a time where the sports had been down for a while, but we're starting to pick up. I mean, you are not the only good athlete here, obviously, at Garden City High School. Mike Sparks had 3 great years at running back for the football team. You did have a lot of help on the basketball team this year. You guys made it to the regionals, which was a very big deal. But it's just got to be a great thing for a high school kid to have everything pretty much going your way right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a lot better than not knowing what I'm going to do or just have all the choices. But, I mean, it's been great, just kind of still being a kid, but just making sure I got all my perspectives in order and everything, and just living out the dream.
Now, you say you do have choices, and your choices will obviously be, A, you will be drafted by some Major League Baseball team to go to the minors. The question probably will be how high and how much they offer. The option to go play Division I basketball and or baseball. Obviously, they're going to want you to play baseball, but a lot of places probably want you to play basketball also. How do you lean right now at the end of April, beginning of May?
It's tough. I mean, it's tough especially since baseball just started with all the scouts, pro scouts coming out and just kind of showing their interest. It's tough to decide which way to go, but right now it'll be towards school unless something great happens in the draft. I mean, hopefully I'll get a choice and make the right one.
Hello, friends and neighbors. The past 6 years, 2 as Mayor Pro Tem, I have had the honor to serve you on the Garden City Council. Now I come to you asking for your support and vote in the re-election of the Garden City Council on Tuesday, November 6th, 2001.
Thank you, all of you, for coming out. This is really an honor. I thank God I'm an American. This is really something. God bless the USA.
Just split up.
Give us a pass here. You want to touch it here? You want to hold it for a minute? Go ahead, hold it. You're welcome.
Yes!
passion in me. A little more fight, a little less fight.
As we promised up front, Representative Jim Plakas is with us as we have our semi-regular visit from him and our Lansing update, if you will. Welcome back to the program and Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you, Dan, and Happy New Year to you.
A little bit about your new configuration after the last election. You now serve a different area, even though Garden City is still a part of that area.
Yes. The new district, Dan, is all of Garden City, all of Inkster, the southern half of Dearborn Heights that goes down to Van Born from Annapolis down, and then I have the northeast section of Allen Park, 4 precincts adjacent to the Veterans Hospital.
Since 1987, the Mid-American Pon Pon All-Star Team has been the hit of America's Thanksgiving Day Parade, wowing hundreds of thousands of people in downtown Detroit and millions more on national television. The 2003 All-Stars would carry on that tradition and begin a few of their own. This group would definitely have a story to tell. The All-Stars were first organized in 1986 by Karen Blazaitis to give high school performers the opportunity to appear at some of the country's premier events, including the Citrus Bowl Parade and halftime show in Orlando with Lee Greenwood, the Fiesta Bowl Parade in Phoenix, the presidential inaugural parade in our nation's capital, the Atlanta Olympic Games, and the famous St. Patrick's Day Parade in Chicago. The All-Stars have also been a part of both the Detroit Pistons and Detroit Red Wings championship parades. The 2003 version of the All-Stars consisted of 140 students from throughout Michigan.
Hi, and welcome to this very special edition of Garden City Planning for Better Tomorrow. I'm Dan York. This week on the program, obviously, we're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada, through the kindness of my parents, who've actually sent my son and myself here for our birthdays. And since we're in Las Vegas, Nevada, we thought we would visit with a former prominent resident of Garden City, the mayor of Garden City from 1979 to 1989, Vince Fordell. Vince Fordell was the first mayor of Garden City after the charter change that made Garden City a city manager form of government. A popular figure in the community, he was on the committee that helped form the city manager form of government, a one-time chairman of the Planning Commission. And Vince now lives in Las Vegas with his wife, Carol. So we thought, since it's the 70th anniversary of Garden City and the 20th anniversary of Omni Edition Television, and since Vince Fordell is one of the people who was instrumental in getting me started in my career, we thought we'd visit with him and find out what's going on in Vince Fordell's life.
Read about the info on the cluster bombs on page 193. If you think all of these items do not affect you, fear is control. Silence.
Mid-American Pom Pon and Omni Edition Television proudly present the Mid-American Pon Pon All-Star Team in the 2005 Presidential Inaugural Parade.
Lights go down, it's dark, the jungle is your head, can't rule your heart, a feeling so much stronger than I thought. Your eyes are wide and though your soul, it can't be bought, your mind can wander. Hello, hello, I'm at a place called Vertigo. It's everything I wish I didn't know, except you. Give me something I can feel.
Okay. And obviously, your familiarity with the community couldn't hurt you.
No, well, I've been around the community for a long time, going back to moving here in '67 and living here most of my life, going through Garden City high schools, Garden City East High School, mind you, and leaving shortly for the military, about 3 years, and coming back. Never thought I'd come back to Garden City after going to the military. But the police department was hiring when I got out, and nobody else was in 1980. I wanted to be a police officer. Wasn't quite sure where I wanted to be a police officer at, but it just kind of worked out in good timing.
With a dame or shit is drunk, you came to get it on. More than 5 O's in your bank to get it on. Roll up like that thing can get it on. Plank to fit it on, came to get it on. Fella, do your thing, let me do my thing. I mean, do your thing, let me do my thing. Move that thing, mommy, move that thing. Come on, move that thing, mommy, move that thing. Hustle, do your thing, let me do my thing. Pump it out.
Omni Edition Television and Mid-American Pon Pon proudly present
Hello and welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Susie McGraw, and you know they say that nature comes in all shapes and all sizes, and I am very pleased and honored today to be a part of showcasing some of the best that Garden City has to offer. It's the 13th annual Garden City Garden Club Garden Walk, and we are going to showcase some of the 8 most beautiful, most stunning gardens here in our community. That's what it's all about. We've got a gorgeous day, we've got a lot of beauty to witness, so let's get started, shall we?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
A year ago, I was writing the State of the City address, and I picked up the Garden City Chronicles, and as I was reading, I realized that on June the 1st, 1927, Detroit Edison lit the corners of Middle Belt and Ford Road, and on June 1st, they also became a village. And I thought, what a perfect opportunity to celebrate the 80th anniversary from the inception as a village.
Okay, very good. And that, and we are going to celebrate it almost to the date, beginning with a celebration at the end of May. This point, just exactly how old are you?
I was 96 last Sunday on May the 27th, and I got a new driver's license a week ago that expires on May the 27th of 2011.
Well, then you'll have to get another one.
Yeah.
Now, you were born in Garden City, is that right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. My grandparents bought 25 acres of land between Marquette and Florence along Middle Belt Road.
Okay.
resolution. Resolution of recognition, City of Garden City, County of Wayne, State of Michigan. Whereas the Garden City Cougar softball team won the Division I State Softball Championship with a 2-1 win over Alpena on June 14, 2008. And whereas the Cougar softball team became the first Garden City high school team ever to win a Michigan High School Athletic Association state championship. And whereas the Cougars finished the season with a record of 32-6, and their coach, Barry Patterson, surpassed the 500 win mark in his career this season. Now there be resolved that the mayor and council, along with all residents of Garden City, do hereby extend this expression of our pride in your accomplishment and our appreciation for the positive focus that you have brought to our community through your good sportsmanship and inspired team play. Be it resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be delivered to each team member with our thanks for your outstanding efforts.
And Signorama. And thank you, Dan York, Mr. Baseball. Thank you.
Great softball, Jackie. All right, now the reason we're here, we want to introduce to you the members of this Division I 2008 Softball Championship team, the Garden City Cougars.
Susan McGraw is with me in studio as we wrap up Election Night Live. And Susie, we thought it was going to be pretty quiet,
Yes.
but it did pick up some steam here tonight.
It did. I'll be honest with you. It picked up steam for a couple of reasons. I discovered one of the reasons was, and I don't know, it's kind of letting out the inside information, but a lot of those people were election workers waiting to get their paychecks. So I thought, that is so cool. But that's the process, right?
Okay,
Hey,
sure.
You do the process, you get your pay, and
You
then,
get your money.
and that's why they're smiling. When you
Mhm.
go to vote. I just wish more people were able to see those smiling faces. That's the downside. We thought 2007 was not so good, and this one being worse. So a little depressed.
Right, which is much earlier than has ever been held in Michigan.
Much earlier. Some of the states are somewhat competing to be the first. You usually hear about Iowa and New Hampshire. Well, Michigan wants to be up with those states in terms of recognition for primaries.
And this has been controversial as far as the parties themselves are concerned.
The state party, the national party, they're all a little conflicted, shall we say. And as a result, we've been told to put on an election in about a month and a half.
Okay.
But we're ready for the challenge.
All right.
KIA, WW2. These were the first letters that sparked an interest for me as a youngster as to the meaning of Memorial Day. My father took me to Memorial Day service and then to a ceremony in a cemetery where many of my family are buried. It was there I witnessed the letters KIA, WW2. For a young person, filled with curiosity, I began to ask the typical questions. What does KIA, WW2 mean? Who were these people that carried the same last name as I? How did they die? My dad explained Richard and Rex Hayes were his uncles that died in World War II. He explained to me the importance of remembering our fallen soldiers. As I stood there looking at those tombstones, I can only imagine the courage it took to go into war and the sadness caused by such a dreadful event as theirs and many other veteran deaths.
You picture me, I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me, I can't hear what you've said. Then you say it goes slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwind. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting. Time after time.
initiated revenue measures including keyring library cards, increases to overdue book fines, non-resident user fees, internet fees, and more, eliminated the youth services librarian, and made citywide reductions including workers' compensation, window cleaning, pest control, printing cost, and reduced energy consumption. The city has had to eliminate some services and quality of life programs. The Youth Center, Nature Center, and Library have sustained larger cutbacks than the public safety departments. Without dedicated funding, it will become very difficult to maintain a state-certified library. Virtually all surrounding communities have dedicated library millages. The city of Troy, unsuccessful in establishing a dedicated library millage, plans to close their library by May. The Madison Heights Council selected a dedicated millage to provide a more efficient library operation, utilizing city support services like insurance, finance, payroll, assessing, legal, grounds maintenance, custodial services, and oversight. If the library millage is approved, the city would reinstate weekly library hours from 50 to 56, keep the library open year-round, triple the depleted library books and materials budget to $50,000 per year, replace 5 computers and upgrade internet bandwidth and filter, and reinstate custodial service to 6 days from 3 days per week. Jody Dodge and Al Briscoe, they are the incumbents that have decided to run for re-election, but Mike Todd, who is finishing a 4-year term, actually resigned during the month of August and did not finish his term. And Dave Duncan, who served 1 term on the Garden City City Council, decided not to run for re-election. So we'll have at least 2 new faces on the Garden City City Council at the end of the night tonight. Jim Kerwin and J. Lee Lynch, they had 4-year terms, so they did not have to run in this election. And Randy Walker is running unopposed for the 2nd time for mayor of Garden City. So now let's take a look at the candidates that appeared on the ballot today. Again, the polls closed at 8 o'clock. Those 2 incumbents we spoke about, Al Briscoe and Jody Dodge. Jody finished 2nd in the primary in August. And then the rest are all first-time challengers. Dave Fetter, Mike Jones, who was a former member of the Garden City Board of Education, Dick King, George Cordy, also a former member of the Garden City School Board, Carl Chico, and Pat Squires. Pat Squires finished in 1st place in the primary. We mentioned Randy Walker, Garden City's mayor, running unopposed for a 2-year term again, and Randy will be re-elected as the mayor of Garden City.
If somebody wants to get started and they have that hour a day, what do you tell them?
Well, they need to get started with your soil. Make sure your soil. You start with your soil, because without good soil, nothing's going to grow. And I started back here. I would buy bags of manure and topsoil and peat moss and just keep mixing. And I use a cedar mulch to keep the heat away. And when there's a drought situation like now, and once you get your soil working, then you can grow anything. And it's just water, fertilizer, and good soil. And the watering is the big part. If you don't water, nothing's going to grow. So, and now we haven't had rain, so I'm watering constantly here. So your water bill will go up, but so will your flowers.
Yeah, look at the trade-off, huh? It's worth it. Let's step back over this way, Jeff. Fantastic. I want to make our way around to, if you would, please feel free, over to the chairs here. I love your color again. Your choices of color.
Let's take this opportunity now. We have an interview that we did with Jody Dodge last week. Jody, as we said, is the Dean of the Garden City City Council. She leaves council after serving 18 consecutive years on the city council, and we talked to her about her thoughts about her time on city council and the fact that she's leaving. Let's take a listen. As Election Night Live continues, we now have with us Jody Dodge, I guess, outgoing member of the Garden City City Council, the dean of the Garden City City Council, the longest tenure of anyone that we can find consecutively in the history of the city, 18 years, not running this year. Welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
And I want to indicate that we're pre-taping this in advance so that it's not actually election night, but we do thank you for coming in on a day or two before the election to talk with everybody and be on the program.
Appreciate being invited.
Let's go back to the beginning. 18 years, 1995 is when you first ran for council, because you were
Took
successful
office,
in your
yeah.
first attempt, correct?
Yes.
Why did you run back then?
Because I didn't like where I saw the city heading, and I didn't like how they were treating the sports in the community. And I said, well, time to jump in and take care of things from the inside.
Now, you were heavy into the GCYAA, which at that time had the hockey as a part of it, and that was your thing, right, was hockey?
Yes, 17 years with Little Caesars.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Candidates for the August 5th, 2014 primary. I'm your host, Dan York. On today's program, candidates from select contested races that appear on the Garden City ballot have been invited to appear. Candidates were given 5 minutes to present their platforms. There were no restarts or retakes.
My name is Evan Chapman. Mario Mpemba has been the voice of the Detroit Tigers for the past 10 years and has recently written a book about his experiences. It's called If These Walls Could Talk, Detroit Tigers. He recently signed that book and gave a short lecture at the Garden City Public Library. I had the chance to talk with him about everything it took to write that book and his experiences as a broadcaster. So, Mario, can you give us a brief synopsis of your career, so far as a broadcaster? Obviously, you're the voice of the Tigers and the Oakland Grizzlies basketball team. Could you just tell us, kind of how you came up?
Well, it's been a long journey, that's for sure. I graduated from Michigan State back in 1985 and decided that, I needed to get a job anywhere. So my first job was in a small town in West Texas, and I got about 9 months worth of experience there, and I had to get out. So I got out, and then from that point on, I got into minor league baseball, did 8 years in the minor leagues, and finally got my first big league job with the Anaheim Angels at that time back in 1995, and then got a job with the Detroit Tigers as a natural progression. I wanted to get back home, and I've been here now for 13 seasons. So the people don't often realize that the road you have to take, and unless you're in the business, it's hard to realize that you got to pay your dues, but that's basically what I did.
And you are a native Detroiter, originally from Sterling Heights, as it says in your book. How is it coming home? How exciting was that for you to call the team that you're a fan of?
Yeah, well, that was ultimately what I wanted to do. My first goal was to get a big league job, and I did that with the Angels. But my ultimate goal was to do it back here in Detroit because I grew up watching so many great Tigers broadcasters, whether it was Ernie Harwell, Paul Carey, Al Kaline, and George Kell. Those guys were idols to me, and to be able to do that in this city, which is really rich and deep in broadcast history, was a thrill.
Hello and welcome to Omni Edition Garden
Planning
City.
for a better tomorrow.
It's not new.
The Garden City Cougar Marching Band. His 5th consecutive term.
Little black ash basket.
Now, if either one of us had something interesting to say.
How am I helping plan for a better tomorrow in Garden City? The building just didn't appear or happen because we wanted it.
Still relatively new Chief of Police.
What attracted you to it?
I don't know. I didn't want to at first, but they do a lot of fun stuff.
Still relatively new City Manager.
Congratulations, things
Thank
are going very well.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Received this ransom note for the trophy.
And Happy New Year, sir.
Thank you, Dan, and Happy New Year's Eve.
We're at Garden City City Park with Pat McCart. Congratulations on your new job as city manager.
The 13th annual Garden City Garden Walk. It's up the Garden City Chronicles.
Caught for a touchdown!
Celebrate gardens in Garden City.
Glad to have you here. What is the atmosphere upstairs?
I was the lucky one. When I was drowning in a Lake Michigan rip current, 2 brave strangers in a kayak saved my life. But far too many people aren't that lucky. So what I want to do now is help you avoid rip currents by checking with the National Weather Service or the beach for warnings. If you're caught in the grip of a rip current, flip, float, and follow the current until you can break free. And before you try to save someone else, save yourself by grabbing a flotation device. Learn more by Googling rip current safety.
It's a Riddle, nice hole. Riddle breaks it. First down for the Tigers.
Welcome to Omni Edition Garden City. I'm Dan York.
He's short. Rebound, Garden City. We go into overtime. He hit it. I can't believe it.
From Detroit, I'm Dan York. Welcome to Garden City Planning for a Better Tomorrow. I'm Dan York.
Good evening, Garden City, and welcome to the 1985 Meet the Candidates program.
1989 Garden City JC Santa Land Parade live from City Hall.
5-0 Garden City leads. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. And Garden City advances to the state championship. Scott Latham is the Garden City quarterback, and he gives to Bill Bell on the first handoff of 1992, and Bill Bell picks up a Garden City first down.
Hello and welcome to the 1993 Meet the Candidates program.
In Phoenix, Arizona, the home of the Fiesta Bowl Parade.
Prepare for battle. This is a call to arms.
We'll see you this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday here on Planning for a Better Tomorrow.
We are out in front of Garden City City Hall with our live coverage of the Santa Land Parade. If you're watching.
Leading off for the Tigers, the designated hitter, number 36, Curtis Pride. Today we salute our hometown hero, number 23, Willie Horton.
In a massive orange, Ackerman with the block. Parker on the putback, loose ball. D. Crawford says, this is my run. Loose ball there. Crawford is fouled, no call, and it goes.
Year 2003-2004, Garden City High School homecoming queen is Ms. Katie Rose.
Hello and welcome to Election Night Live for the 2005 Garden City mayoral and council election.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss.
The parade is enormous this year with 4 marching bands, 2 balloons, the Detroit Ignition dance team.
All district, all region, all area, all state, and all world, ladies and gentlemen, senior pitcher, Helly Mintz.
I'm Dan York. Thanks for watching, and good night, everybody.
No, Claire, please, fire these people.
Fire them.
Yeah, you fire them.
They're volunteers. They're here out of the kindness of their heart.
They're volunteers because no one will pay them. They are incompetent. They're like this every day of the year, I guarantee it.
I want to thank all of the volunteers who made today's broadcast possible. We use quite a few people to do this live broadcast.
Mansions of glory and suicide machines sprung from cages on Highway 9, chrome wheel, fuel injected and stepping out over the line. Oh, maybe this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. We gotta get out while we're young. 'Cause tramps like us, baby, we were born to run.
For the first time here, as you see our split screen, split screen, the racing of the lift.
Not really hampering any of the spirits out there. It's still very lively, and
but it may hamper the field at some time tonight.
it could. It definitely could. It could get a little muddy and a little.
I
I just wonder, you didn't lose your replay technician because of the government shutdown here, did you?
No, and not even the Tigers aren't even home, so.
Metro-bound airplane there. Maybe Dan York's on that plane coming back.
And if I can find my place in my notes, I'll figure out what the third thing was.
This is yesterday. This is when my son was locked inside of it because the door closed on him.
He's got all kinds of food, living high over here at Omni Edition Sports, I want to tell you.
Dear Dave, can I host the show for a few minutes? Yours truly, Jason Lynch, Garden City, Michigan. You know, we get letters like this all the time, and I thought, you know, it might be fun.
Beyond the power, semi-powered drone, scream down the boulevard.
Here you see Lisa trying to heckle the other coaches.
She's doing a good job for us. I tell you what an outstanding professional job they do, game in and game out. And once again, I want to thank the entire crew for coming out and letting you and I have fun doing what we love to, talk about football.
We're going to talk about, see, I thought about that so much I tripped.
Bad, very bad. Okay, good, very good.
Sorry, another edit for you, buddy. I was going to get a wreath made of bacon and put it out there.
Thanks, Dan. The highway's jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive.
The East guy, he's all right.
That'll never die, will it?
Oh, no. We got into a texting war the other day about that.
Because I've been really bad in front of the camera of late, especially live stuff.
I think Dan's leaving again. He saw how good the crew's doing everything. They said, I don't need anything, so Dan's back.
Oh, I love this. This is like they could make Cold Stone ice cream on this table.
Is actually heading to our north, so we're not going to get any gully washers of rain.
I see video. Why do I see video? That was horrible. You're going to have to edit the daylights out of that.